Hi, this is Thomas Ferreira, your Carlsbad divorce attorney and mediator, and today I want to talk to you about trust. First off, I have a question for you. How would you like to put a nice brand new Lexus in my garage? My guess is not many of you would want to do that, and yet that's what many people do. And the reason is because they get stuck in the litigation and they get stuck fighting in the low trust. And I don't want you to go there. I don't want you to do that. About 4 years ago, I read a very interesting book by Stephen Covey Jr. Stephen Covey Jr. is the son of the late Stephen Covey, who wrote The 7 Habits of Highly Effective People. And he writes a really wise book. It's called The Speed of Trust. And the thesis of the book is this, that where you have low trust in any relationship, you're going to have high transaction costs. Now, let me give you an illustration. Say you reach an agreement with another businessman and you're going to make 1,000 widgets, and he's going to pay you a certain amount of money per widget that's payable at a certain time. And you say, okay, and you shake on it. That's a low transaction cost deal because you have avoided the cost of an attorney drafting the agreement. You've avoided the litigation over the agreement, assuming that he makes the widgets and you make the widgets and he pays on time. You've avoided all of the transaction costs that are associated with that deal, and that's money that can go into profits. Well, a divorce case is the same way. What tends to happen is that attorneys will sell you on fear. They'll say, oh, you have to retain me and we have to spend some money to protect your rights. And oh my gosh, he's going to get you and he's going to take your property. He's not going to support you, or she, whatever. And you're basically set up with fear of loss. The problem with that sales pitch is that with every word of it, it reduces trust. And when you reduce trust, you create more costs. I had a case once with 2 physicians, and these 2 physicians had spent about $15,000 each on the litigation, and they had only gotten as far as their first request for order hearing. And in the middle of all this, one of them just called the other one, didn't call the attorney, called the other party and said, you know, I've spent $15,000. I don't want to do this anymore. And she said, you know what? I've also spent $15,000. I don't want to do this anymore. They came in for mediation. Tammy and I mediated the case, and we had that case done in about 2 weeks for at least 10%, no more than 10% of what they would have spent had they continued to litigate. So the question is, you've got a low trust person on the other side. What do you do? Well, if you're already up to your eyeballs in litigation costs, my suggestion is, number one, why don't you give them a call and see if they're happy with the way things are going. Chances are you can portray opting out of the litigation system as a win-win. Fire your attorneys and get into mediation. Another way of avoiding the low trust situation is to have a conversation at the outset of the case. Listen, getting a petition served on you is a terrible way to find out you're getting a divorce. You don't want to do that because it creates fear. You got to respond in a certain number of days, and it destroys trust. And when you destroy trusts, you increase your costs. And wouldn't you want to take that money that you were going to spend on that transaction and spend it on your post-divorce life? Spend it on the place you always wanted to travel to, or to creating the career that you've always wanted. Look, if you want to treat that other person as an enemy, guaranteed they'll respond in kind. But if you can show them that there is a mutual interest in shutting down the litigation train, you're going to come out miles ahead. I'm Thomas Ferreira.